social. You want some coffee?
There's no coffee there, so it's done.
No coffee.
We can make some more if you want.
So, finished drinking coffee. We're talking about Malindi's history.
Yes. No, not only Malindi,
Yes.
but the entire coast of East Africa.
basically.
And the influence of the Portuguese. And why we know so much about this, it's because we are taught in school, and you have to sit an exam on history and the Portuguese. Bartholomew Dias,
It's actually Diaz.
Alfonso Diaz, Bartholomew Diaz, Francisco, no, Alfonso de Albuquerque. It's
Alfonso.
Albuquerque.
Yes,
We used to say Alfonso de Albuquerque. And yeah, the greatest guy, what's his name?
Vasco da Gama.
Vasco da Gama. So we sat, we had exams. That's why we
I
know
find
so
it
much
fascinating because I've never heard of any Portuguese people when I go to Portugal talk about Zanzibar or Mombasa. When I'm learning all this, it's kind of fascinating.
So they cut off the entire history of how the last post before they went, before cutting to Goa.
Say they come to Malindi from Malindi.
Yeah, but even this guy gave him 2 boats.
Malindi.
Yeah, the guy who was here, the Sultan, he gave Vasco da Gama 2 boats to cut across with him.
Nice.
Yeah, 2 new to escort him to India.
There's got to be an incentive. The incentive was to ally with the Portuguese to go against the rivals in Mombasa.
Yeah, because when they came to Mombasa, they had nothing. The whole fleet.
The Portuguese?
Yeah. So the fleet which land came to Mombasa, they were denied entry to the port. They were just told to go. They had nowhere to go. So the last port they knew here was Mombasa, because they had news. You know, they had the information from the other side, Red Sea. So they had to hug the coast and come north. Yeah. So this river showed that there was a port here. Then they found Malindi because of that river. Malindi had a very good port, so they came in. Sultan, who invited them and lived with them, I think, for 2 months. They put stuff in their ships, filling up the ship with
Food supplies.
yes and water. Then they made friends with the guy. The guy was so happy that they were here, and because he didn't like the guy in Mombasa. Yeah, so they
Right, they were rivals.
provisioning. Yeah, they call it provisioning. So he provisioned their ships. They repaired their ships. They
That's
added
how
to the fleet to escort them across.
alliance between Malindi and the Portuguese began,
Yes.
to the detriment of Mombasa.
Yes, sir.
From what I read, Malindi became more powerful
Yes.
after the Portuguese allied with.
Yeah, but that's hostile to everybody. Then the Portuguese came in, and then they built the. So when Vasco da Gama landed here, he built the pillar to show that this is. I reached here
And
Yeah,
the warehouse for trade.
for provisioning. That came later. The customs warehouse.
Oh, okay.
That came later. With commerce. And the church was built by somebody else. The chapel.
And then you have Alfonso de Albuquerque, which came here. He was a beast, a naval beast.
He was a serious captain.
Yeah.
Then there was Xavier,
The king-
Francis Xavier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
He was a priest.
priest, and
Yeah.
now he's a
saint.
He's responsible for converting the
Yeah,
Indians in Portuguese India.
And because he had 3 things he was teaching them. The credo. You know the credo? Apostolic creed. What we Catholics makes us Catholic. It's called the credo. Then the 10 commandments. And the 3rd thing he taught them was our Father, the Lord's Prayer. The 3 things he taught guys, and he taught people that everywhere. So he converted many people using those 3 tools. And he got schools. That's what helps the Portuguese government spread themselves with Christianity.
So with the help of the Malindi, Portuguese and the Malindi were able to take over Mombasa. Built the fort. Explain how the fort was built.
It was hewn out of rock. It was carved out of rock. It was not built with masonry.
Right.
It's not masonry. It came with guys, and they cut the rocks.
They just cut the rocks.
Yeah, because it's coral, so it's easy to fashion into any style you want. So
But you know that the fort was designed by an Italian architect.
that fort?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought that's the way they used to make forts.
They hired an Italian architect.
Yeah, because it's an architectural masterpiece. You should go inside there. The most serious thing inside there is a cistern, the water collection thing.
Yeah.
And then
which they learned from the Moors.
yes, and then the caves which go into the underground route to go into the
to get food
in low tide.
in case they're being attacked. There's secret caves, secret pathways to get the food.
And they had.
That's why they were able to sustain for 2 years. Constant attack.
They were under siege.
Yeah.
Then they have. Yeah, it's really need to go inside there. You need to go inside the fort. It's serious. It has dormitories. It has palaces. It's small palaces. A kitchen for like the officers and the kitchen for normal staff. It has bathrooms. It has toilets. The toilets were.
Well, I'm sure the toilets were made when the British were here.
No, the toilets are at holes on the side.
Okay,
on the side of the.
Oh, okay.
On the side of the fort facing outside. So you just take a crap and then you flush it with water. The toilet. It's a nice place. You should go there. Yeah. So the Portuguese were very serious, and they're the only guys who have been known to document the kingdom of Monomotapa.
How do you spell Monomotapa?
Monomotapa. It's a Portuguese name, Monomotapa, because it was called Mwene Motapa. Mwene Motapa means the lord of the land, which was the biggest trading post, the biggest source of gold and ivory.
Oh, before getting that, getting to that, Malindi also the kingdom of Malindi also helped the Portuguese get Kilwa.
Kilwa, which was
which is in present-day Tanzania.
Yes, which is an outpost. Was an outpost for the Sultan of Mogadishu. The Sultan of Mogadishu had 2 outposts, and the Sultan of Mogadishu was the only person who used to trade with Monomotapa. That was his secret. After Solomon, the great king of Israel, Solomon used to mine directly with Monomotapa.
So this is like the
El Dorado of Africa.
Yeah.
It has so much gold. Even right now, they still have gold and diamonds and all that. Yeah. So, but they mainly used to go there for gold and ivory. But nobody was allowed to access Monomotapa.
So the Portuguese were allowed?
Yes, they did. They went and conquered it, and they even made the king a Christian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They went and baptized the guy. But that was during the weekend time of Monomotapa. So anyway, the guy nobody was allowed to go into Monomotapa. The secrets of Monomotapa died with Monomotapa and the Great Zimbabwe ruins. There was a city, a great city called the Great Zimbabwe. It was a serious city. Yeah? So he used to allow his people to bring the gold and the ivory to the island of Kilwa and the town of Sofala. So the Sultan of Mogadishu used to have viceroys. They used to have people there, wazirs and all that, there who used to not trade with that stuff. It was seriously. But what the Portuguese did is that they actually did not wait for the stuff. They went inside and they made drawings of Monomotapa. He documented and made drawings and got samples of things from there, and he wrote books about Monomotapa, which no other person did. The Great Zimbabwe is a mystery even to us now.
So the only left documents
is in Lisbon.
About this great kingdom in Zimbabwe
is in Lisbon.
Okay, interesting.
We in Africa did not document it. The Sultan of Mogadishu did not document it. He only traded in it. And then they took over Kilwa, they took over Sofala, the Portuguese. But at that time, there was a decline of the Shona, so they used them as outposts to go to India. Because the goal was not East Africa, the goal was India.
Right.
Spice.
Yeah.
Spice.
And then baptism of King Siti of Mutapa in 1683.
The Christianized the guy. And they have drawings of it, eh?
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now.
Yeah, that's how the palace looks like.
This is all very interesting.
And Lamu.
Lamu too?
Yes, there are Portuguese tribes in Lamu.
Oh.
To date, yes, there are people who are Portuguese descended in Lamu.
And they know they're Portuguese?
Yes, they know. Yeah, they speak Portuguese.
You kidding?
Yes, and they go to Portugal.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in Lamu. You need to go to Lamu.
I gotta go to Lamu.
I'll give you my sailor. The guy who was doing my boat is half Portuguese.
Yes, Portuguese descent. And
yes,
you know
and
he
speaks.
has...
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, he speaks Portuguese.
That is crazy.
Lamu here. So they're to the extent Lamu. And there's another place called Kismayu which fell with the war. Yeah, but from there they used to now cut across. Because it's a big sea, the Arabian Sea here is really large. To cut across takes this open ocean. You're no longer hugging the coast. You're cutting. It's like cutting across the Atlantic.
Yeah, and this, I think forever, these seas around here have probably been the most dangerous to navigate. With the pirates.
Atlantic.
No, the Indian Ocean.
Atlantic. Atlantic was the wildest because it was
after the Europeans started sailing. There were European pirates, but this has always been continuous, consistent.
No,
the Somalis have always been.
No, this is recent because of the Somali became chaotic after the government fell in the '91. Yes, after because Somali was a very great nation. It was rich. It had a lot of culture and history and the whole kingdom of Punt. Somali was one of the greatest nations in the world and the country with the longest coastline in Africa. And these guys, they went to war and then just declined up to date. But it was a big kingdom. They used to trade a lot with the Middle East. But for the Portuguese, this was the extent. Malindi, Lamu was the extent.
Yeah, then from here.
But for the Portuguese, this was the extent. Malindi, Lamu was the extent.
Yeah, then from here, India.
Yeah, the Arabian.
India, small worlds, how everything is so interconnected.
But you guys, I don't know why you didn't stay. Mozambique, Madagascar, did you guys have anything to do with Madagascar?
For a while.
And there are very many small...
but Madagascar is a hard thing to control.
Why?
Even now it's chaotic.
It's chaotic, eh?
About half or 40%, it's a large number of the people there are of Chinese descent. You know that, right?
Maybe because they have nothing. I don't think there's anything there.
I don't know, it's just very flush with forests and all that. I think it's hard to, and besides, they didn't have any ports of...
And things will come us.
Yeah, if you don't have stuff to trade, then, you know, there's little incentive for somebody to, especially with those times, those little...
Then there's the
those
island,
caravans.
I was telling you about the island in Mozambique called the Isle.
The Isle of?
Mozambique. It's an island. Yes.
And what about it? What's the story behind that?
A lot. It's like Malindi.
Oh, but going back, looking at the map now, now it explains why there's it looks like almost an arm extending because half of Mozambique is slim.
Yes.
It's not very deep.
Yes.
It's by the ocean, like Chile, and then it extends.
It extends
wide.
into Zimbabwe.
It extends into Zimbabwe because.
Monomata.
Exactly. Okay, so I see now. So the Isle of Mozambique.
Yes.
Oh, and I'm looking at Google Maps. Historical sites in a scenic setting. So apparently there's
churches. The big. The
Fortress of Saint Sebastian.
Yeah, the fort is bigger than Fort Jesus.
I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty big, yeah. So you know the history behind Piri Piri?
No.
It was the Portuguese sailors who in Mozambique got the spices and made Piri Piri.
They found the chili.
They made the Piri Piri, yeah.
They found the chili.
In Mozambique.
Very good stuff. So Africa, East Africa, has vanilla, cloves, coffee.
Yes, coffee. The origin of coffee is in Ethiopia.
Yeah, which is East Africa. Yeah, so that's the story of the Portuguese. Good guys.
All right. Thank you for the history lesson.
We had to learn it.
What's your
You
name?
need to take that. My name is Gache. Yeah.
And we're Port Melinda Shopping Center.